Hey, BJ from Very Basic Bible. Gonna keep going through the book of Ruth. Okay, here we go. Yesterday, I kept saying, we talked about the Redeemer on the last one. We talked about that on the last one. We already talked about, why would I do that? You're not gonna, we'll talk about something one time and then we learn about it. We know everything about it. Then we can just go on from there. So then next time it comes up, oh, I just assume you know it. Next time it doesn't come up, but you need the information. Oh, you have the information. Maybe not. Maybe you forgot. If 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 you need the information, but you're not aware you need the information, then it might not, come up. I've hammered how women in this society are seemingly second-class citizens. They can't get a job. They need to be connected to a man. How men get everything. Men have the field, men have the jobs. You need a baby. You want a baby to carry on your family line, specifically a boy. If you got all girls, that's not so bad, but specifically a boy, they can carry on the family line. We talked about all that stuff. Talked, over and over and over again. We talked about the wheat and barley and agriculture, agrarian, over and over and over. And then I mentioned a Redeemer. Okay, we'll have one Bible study of a Redeemer. All right, that's done. Oh, here it says Redeemer. You know all about that. Why would I do that? I don't know. There's so much stuff about Redeemer. So our church is called Redeemer, as Church of the Redeemer. Jesus Christ is our Redeemer. God says, I will redeem people, but not just the word redeem. There are other places in the Bible. Share that screen. Making my face a little bigger. There we go, guys. I am going to go back. Oops. I think I went, no, wait, what happened? And oh, there we go, huh? Go back to chapter 2. Read all the way through chapter 2 and chapter 3. No, I'm going to start. I'm sorry. I'm going to start at chapter 2, verse, where was it? Verse 18. Okay. First though, as always, let's go change the mouse speed because I'm just my mouse. Watch the arrow. No, it's here. No, it's there. No, Arriba, Andale, Speedy Gonzalez and stuff. Is he politically incorrect now because he was a Mexican mouse? I don't know. I mean, he's representing all Mexicans can run fast. I don't know. I grew up here in South Texas, South-ish, South-ish Texas. I now live kind of in Central Texas, but I grew up in a very pretty southern. Mexicans everywhere. Well, one time in junior high, I started thinking, wait, I heard the word Hispanic. And I started going, wait, am I supposed to say Hispanic? Is that more politically correct? Is Mexican a slang term? I've only heard Mexican used of people who are, okay, this is my kid brain trying to think of this stuff. I've only heard Mexican used for janitors and construction crew people and these kids at my school that are kind of poor. But Hispanic, I've heard used of better people. That's how I'm trying to think through this. I'm like that's kind of how it was in my head. And so sometimes I'd say Hispanic, and I said to one boy, I said you're you're Hispanic, and he said I'm not Hispanic, I'm Mexican. And I said, wait, what? And he said my family's from Mexico. I said it's not a derogatory term, and he said no. I was like, oh, okay, I guess so. Well, then one of the teachers said, you need to say Hispanic, not Mexican. And I said, what if they're from Mexico? Well, they don't like it. So one of the adults told me they don't like it. One of the kids told me, a Mexican himself said it's fine. I've talked to several Mexicans over the years and Hispanic people over the years, and they said if they're from Mexico, saying Mexican is fine as long as it's not derogatory. Okay, that's fine. Hispanic is a little more confusing because that's a bigger thing. But if they're actually from Mexico, which most of the people in Texas from Mexico, I'm pretty sure. So that's why sometimes I say Mexican. all that to say, we're going to read about Ruth the Moabitess. Rahab, Boaz later actually calls her a Moabitess. So, all right, that was for free. That was not Bible study. Well, kind of, because, using words correctly. So, all right. She picked it. That's like in the middle of the story. Okay, I got the door open. There's probably some background noise. I'm gonna hit 1 second, guys. I'm gonna pause this and I'm gonna go close my door. My cats will just have to hang out inside. So I'm back. Oh, what? To y'all, it was like, I'm back. But to me, I walked all the way over to my door, shut it. My cat's like, meow, I don't want to come inside. And I'm like, whatever, get inside, cat. No, I don't. Sometimes I do talk to the mean because they're fighting. I'm trying to get them to stop. Anyway, all right. Oh, the heck. I have food. So now my cat wants to come over here. Hey, look, right there. You're in the screen. Now go away. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, start at chapter 2, verse 1. I'm going to read all the way. Okay. I'm going to try not to make any comment. I'm not going to make any commentary. No commentary. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Now Naomi had a relative of her husband, a man of great wealth, of the family of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, please let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain, following one in whose eyes I may find favor. And Naomi said to Ruth, go, my daughter. So Ruth left and went and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come upon the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, may the Lord be with you. And they said to him, may the Lord bless you. Then Boaz said to his servant who was in charge of the reapers, whose young woman is this? And the servant in charge of the reapers replied, she is a young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the land of Moab. And she said, please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and has remained from the morning until now. She has been sitting in the house for a little while. Then Boaz said to Ruth, listen carefully, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field. Furthermore, do not go on from this one, but join my young women here. Keep your eyes on the field which they reap and go after them. Indeed, I have ordered the servants not to touch you. When you are thirsty, go to the water jars and drink from what the servants draw. Then she fell on her face, bowing to the ground, and said to him, why have I found favor in your sight that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? Boaz replied to her, all that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband has been fully reported to me, and how you left your father and your mother and the land of your birth and came to a people that you did not previously know. May the Lord reward you your work, and may your wages be full from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Then she said, I have found favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me, and indeed have spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not like one of your female servants. And at mealtime, Boaz said to her, come here, that you may eat of the bread, and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. So she sat beside the reapers, and he served her roasted grain, and she ate and was satisfied and had some left. When she got up to glean, Boaz commanded his servants, saying, let her glean, even among the sheaves, and do not insult her. Also, you are to purposely slip out for her some grain from the bundles and leave it so that she may glean, and do not rebuke her. So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she picked it up and went to the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. Naomi, she also took some out and gave Naomi what she had left after she was satisfied. Her mother-in-law then said to her, "Where did you glean today, and where did you work? May he who took notice of you be blessed." Ruth told Naomi, her mother-in-law, with whom she had worked, and said, "The name of the man with whom I work today is Boaz." Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May he be blessed of the Lord, who has not withdrawn his kindness from the living and from the dead." Again, Naomi said to her, "The man is our relative. He is one of our redeemers." Then Ruth the Moabitess said, "Furthermore, he said to me, 'You are to stay close to my servants until they have finished all my harvest.'" And Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, Ruth, "It is good, my daughter, that you go out with his young women, so that others do not assault you in the field." So Ruth stayed close by the young women of Boaz in order to glean until the end of the barley harvest and the wheat harvest. And she lived with her mother-in-law. Then her mother-in-law, Naomi, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may go well for you? Now then, is Boaz not our relative, with whose young women you are? Behold, he is winnowing barley at the threshing floor tonight." So Naomi says to Ruth, "My daughter." She isn't literally her daughter, she's her daughter-in-law, but she's going to take care of her like a daughter. "What shall I not seek security for you, that it may go well for you?" Hey, I'm your mother-in-law. I need to help you out. Okay. Seems like that's what the kitty. Seems like that's what she's saying. uh, now then, is Boaz not our relative? Why would that matter? Oh, because relatives can take care of each other, I guess. With these young women you were? Boaz, with whose young women you were, isn't he our relative? Why would that matter? Look. Shall I not seek security for you? Is Boaz not our relative? Boaz, the guy, the man whose women you were with, Boaz has young women working for him, or there were other young women that go to his field. That guy, Boaz, he's our relative. I should seek security for you. Okay. He is a dude, like we keep talking about the dudes versus the dudettes, the men versus the women. The men have the security and such, but a relative. Okay. Behold, he is winnowing barley at the threshing floor tonight. Wash yourself, therefore. Therefore, wash. Okay. Wash. So it could also be therefore, wash yourself, anoint yourself, put on your best clothes, go down to the threshing floor, but don't reveal yourself until the man, until he has finished eating and drinking. So, because the word therefore, people say, if you see therefore, you should ask, what's it there for? Hey, if I see whose young woman you were, what's it there for? I mean, if you see the word therefore, what's it there for is kind of misleading. So don't, he is winnowing barley. Oh, I wonder what he's winnowing barley for. Wait, what? Okay. Therefore means because of everything I just said. Therefore means, okay, because, okay, here's A, B, and C. Because of A, B, and C, blah, 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 blah. The car went up the bridge and hit another car. Because of that, there was a fire. Now, you don't really use therefore in that case, because the fire just kind of happened. But you need to get the car up the bridge without catching it on fire. Therefore, make sure you avoid traffic. It's a little more intentional, okay? It's therefore make sure you avoid the traffic when you're going up the bridge, My daughter-in-law, shall I not seek security for you? Is not Boaz our young relative, our relative? Therefore, wash and anoint yourself, put on your best clothes, go to the threshing floor, but do not reveal yourself to him until he's finished eating and drinking. Then lie down. So you're going to do all this. So since since he's our relative and I should seek security for you, I want you to do all this crazy stuff. Get all dolled up, go down the threshing floor. Don't let him see you until he gets drunk. Then you're going to take notice at the spot where he lies down, because that's what you do when you're threshing wheat, I guess, and uncover his feet. Then he will tell you what you should do. And she said, all that you say, I will do. Does Ruth know? Like we keep saying, Ruth is from Moab. She's from another country. Does she know what's going on? She's probably like, wait. He's our relative, and you want to seek security for me. Therefore, you want me to go get prettied up and go find him at the threshing floor, but not until he's asleep, and then uncover his feet and lay down. Wait, what? She might be confused. I don't know. Is she? There are other places in the Bible. Here, let's go. We often think of like everybody in the Bible knows everything, unless it specifically says they don't. Sometimes here, in the Acts of the Apostles, let's see, in the Law of the Nazarites, we're going to look in the book of Acts. Okay, Acts 21-23, full chapter. All right. After we, that is Paul, Luke, and other people with Paul, Luke, Paul, and other people. So Luke wrote the book of Acts. Luke is with Paul. So after they arrived in Jerusalem, the brothers and sisters received us gladly. And the following day, Paul went in with us to James, and all the elders were present. After Paul had greeted them, he began to relate one by one the things which God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry. And when James and the other Jewish Jerusalem Christians, the other Christians in Jerusalem, when they heard about it, they began glorifying God. And they said to him, you see, brother. So James is now telling Paul. Paul says, hey, all this great stuff we did amongst the Gentiles. James and his people are like, dude, no way, glory to God. Some Jews did not like the fact, some Jews who were Christians, they believed Jesus was the Messiah. They did not like the fact that Paul was going to Gentiles and converting them. They did not like it that Paul was, this is what they didn't like about it. Paul was saying, you don't have to become Jewish to be a Christian. Some of the Jews thought that Gentiles should get circumcised, should follow food laws, don't eat unclean stuff, should make sacrifices. They should, in other words, before you can become a Christian, have Jesus as your Lord, you have to be Jewish. In order to become Christian, that's what some Jews thought. Paul was like, no, just have Jesus as your Lord. That's it. You just have faith in Jesus. That's all. James and the other Jerusalem Christians, like the pillars of the church, James is, Jesus' brother, and probably other disciples and other apostles of Jesus himself. They were like, dude, this is awesome. This is great. But you see, brother, how many thousands there are among the Jews of those who believe. And they are zealous for the law. They believed in Jesus and they are zealous for the law. They have been told about you and that you are teaching all the Jews who are among the Gentiles to abandon Moses. Paul didn't tell Jews who are among the Gentiles to abandon Moses. Paul just said Gentiles don't have to become Jews. Paul did not tell Jews among Gentiles, stop being Jews. Paul told Gentiles, you don't have to become Jews. Because there were Jews and there were Gentiles in some countries living together. So Paul goes there and says, hey, everybody become a Christian. And Gentiles, you don't have to become a Jew to become a Christian. But he never said Jews, you have to stop being a Jew to become a Christian. He just said trust in Jesus. Okay, anyway. So let's see if Paul has any control in this situation. Let's see. You see, brother, how many thousands there are among the Jews who believed, and they are zealous for the law. They have been told about you that you are teaching all the Jews who are among the Gentiles to abandon Moses, telling them not to circumcise their children, nor to walk according to the customs. So what is to be done? Paul, no, wait, that's not what. Paul doesn't talk here. James keeps, they will certainly hear that you have come. Therefore, do as we tell you. We have 4 men who have a vow upon themselves. Take them along and purify yourself together with them and pay their expenses so they may shave their heads. You shaved your head for some vows. And then everyone will know there's nothing to what you have been told about you, but that you also confirm keeping the law. No, wait, James, but Gentiles don't have to keep the law. These 4 men, no. James just keeps talking. But regarding the Gentiles who have believed, we sent a letter having decided that they should abstain from meat sacrificed to idols, from blood, what is strangled, from sexual immorality. Then Paul took along the men. He didn't argue with James. He didn't say anything. That's recorded. Paul took along the men, and the next day, after putting himself together with them, purifying, he went in the temple, giving notice to the completion of the day of the purification, until the sacrifice was offered for each one of them. Okay, so he's going along. When the 7 days were almost over, the Jews from Asia, upon seeing him in the temple, began to stir up all the crowd and lay hands on Paul. When the 7 days were almost over, the Jews who were amongst the Gentiles, men of Israel, help. This is the man who instructs everyone everywhere against our people in the law in this place. For they had previously, he has even brought Greeks into the temple, has defiled this holy place. Paul, no, that's not true. For they had previously seen Trophimus, the Ephesian, in the city with him. They thought Paul had brought him into the temple. Then the whole city was provoked, and the people rushed together. Taking hold of Paul, they dragged him out of the temple, and immediately the doors were shut. While they were intent on killing him, a report came up to the commander of the Roman cohort that all Jerusalem was in confusion. He immediately took along some soldiers and centurions and ran down to the crowd. And when they saw the commanders and soldiers, they stopped beating Paul. Like Paul goes and he's like, hey guys, here's great stuff that happens. James, okay, Paul, this is what's been said about you. Okay, Paul, this isn't good. Okay, Paul, here's what we're going to do about it. Then Paul goes and does it. Then the Jews grab Paul. Then they pull him out. Then they start beating Paul. Then the soldiers come. They stop beating Paul. When Paul got to the stair, it came about time. The multitude of people kept shouting away with him as Paul was about to be brought into the barracks. He then said to the commander, Paul's just kind of being like, oh my gosh, he's just kind of like going along with it. And finally he's able to, hey, listen to some voice. Okay. To me. So Paul knew what was going on, but he just kind of went with it. It seems. Whether he agreed with it or not, I don't know. He took them guys in there, got their vow. Back here. Okay, here's what you're going to do, Ruth. Boaz are your relative. He is threshing floor. Wash yourself and anoint yourself. Put on your best clothes. But wait, Naomi, what? No. And go down the threshing floor. Don't reveal yourself until morning. He is finished eating and drinking. It shall be when he lies down. You shall take notice of where he lies down and cover his feet. Lie down. Do what he tell you. And she said to her, wait, this doesn't, all you do also say. Then she went down to the threshing floor, did according to all he said. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, he went down to lie down, and she uncovered his feet and lay down. In the middle of the night, the man stirred or bent forward. Who are you? Then she does what I am Ruth, your slave, spread your garment. I mean, she's doing what she asked, what Ruth told her to. Ruth is just doing what Naomi told her to do. Like, does Ruth understand everything? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe so, maybe no. But she just does it. Happens in other places in the Bible. People just kind of get swept away. And the Bible doesn't tell you every little last detail. It doesn't say he understood this. He didn't understand that. He knows what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. The Bible tells us what it tells us. Excuse me. And she said, all that you say, I will do. So she went down to the threshing floor. She's all purdied up and did according to all her mother-in-law had commanded her. She stayed hidden She stayed hidden. Then she saw where he laid. It doesn't tell us she stayed hidden, but it does tell us, about her seeing where he lay. Okay. When Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was cheerful, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. When Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was cheerful. When Boaz had eaten and drunk. One second. Latins. Let's see, does this work? No. Gladness, no. Wine, or maybe cheerful. You may spend the money on whatever your heart desires. Now, this is heart right here. And this heart right here. Same thing. Yes. In other words, whenever his disposition was one of cheerfulness, whenever his character was cheerful, when he was he was happy deep down inside. Yes, I'm good. Over here, what does your disposition want? What do you want? What do you really desire? Whatever your heart desires, oxen, sheep, wine, and other strong drink. Whatever your heart desires, whatever you want. Hey, my heart desires this stuff, And there you shall eat in the presence of the Lord your God and rejoice, you and your household. Wine, other strong drink. In the morning, when the wine had gone out of Nabal, his wife told him these things, and Nabal's heart died within him. So he became like a stone. So, in other words, he wasn't intoxicated anymore. His wife was like, hey, Nabal. And Nabal's like, oh no, now his wine sank. His wine was happy. Now his wine, the wine when his wine sank, his heart sank when the wine went out of him. This story, Nabal had been like, whatever, David, go away, and had insulted David when David was king, but he was not yet enthroned. He was being chased around by Saul. One of my cats' name is Saul. So whenever I say that, okay, his ears perked up, they're moving, but he's mostly tired and asleep. I'm gonna get me some food here. A little wine to gladden the heart. It's just water, right? Wine, heart. David's leading around a band of men. He's trying to stay away from Saul. He asked Nabal's men some questions. Hey, can we stay on your land? Can we have some lodging? We're not going to take anything. Nabal's like, whatever, no, go away. I'm against you. David gets mad. David's going to come and attack him. Abigail tells Nabal. Now, Nabal got drunk. Now Nabal's no longer drunk, and Abigail says, hey, you did something dumb. David's coming to get you. His heart died within him, so he became like a stone. Because David and his mighty men, quote unquote, that's what they called him, David's mighty men. They're pretty bad dudes. Absalom commanded his servants, saying, see now, when Ammon's heart is cheerful with wine, and I say to you, strike Ammon, then you should put him to death. In other words, wait till he's tipsy, then kill him. Does any of these tell us if it's good or bad to drink wine? No. But right here, God specifically tells them, you shall certainly tithe all the produce from what you sow. Give a tenth of all the produce which you get out of the field. When you go get all your grain and your produce out of the field, a tenth of it goes to God, which comes from the field every year. Okay, which comes from the, you shall eat it in the presence of the Lord at the place where the Lord chooses to establish his name. The tithe of your grain, your new wine, your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and flock, cows and sheep. Cook them and eat them, right? That's what a hamburger is, a cow. Some people eat sheep, so so that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. So you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. You're going to give a tenth of it, and a tithe of your grain, new wine, and oil, and flock. You shall eat it in the presence of the Lord your God. Okay, wherever the God chooses. But if the distance is so great for you that you are not able to bring the tithe, since the place where the Lord your God chooses is that his name is too far away from you, when the Lord your God blesses you, then they didn't have cars. Some of them had donkeys, maybe wagons, wheels and wagons. They were hard to make. When they broke, it wasn't like we could take our car. Look, we can just take our car to a mechanic and boom, it's fixed. No, we have one bike shop in town. If my bike breaks, which I haven't ridden my bike in a while, my wife's like messed up. going to cost us hundreds of dollars to get it fixed by a bike specialty person. Okay. Back in the day, to them, simple wagons to them were like bikes. There was one, maybe there may be a few people, probably one, that knew how to fix wagons. Not many people had wagons. Okay. You're going along, you're 100 miles from the place that the Lord your God chooses. You got your wine, your tithe, you got a tenth of everything. Your strong drink, your cow, your meat. You got a tenth of everything in this wagon, and then it breaks down. Boom. Robbers come and steal it. That's no good. Like maybe it's just too like physically demanding. You got grandpa and grandma with you, and your great uncle, and it's like it's just too far. We carry all this stuff whenever we come to a feast. God wants to carry all this stuff. Okay, here we go. If the distance is so great for you, you are unable to bring the tithe, since the place where the Lord your God chooses to set his name is too far away from you. When the Lord your God blesses you, because he'll bless you and give you a bunch of stuff. So you have to take a bunch of stuff, too much stuff. The place where God chose to set his name is really far away. Then you shall exchange the stuff for money, bind the money in your hand, and then go to the place where the Lord your God chooses. Okay. And you may spend the money on whatever your heart desires. So once you get there, hey guys, I'm from hundreds of miles away. I got some money, gonna buy my stuff. Buy some oxen, sheep, wine, and other strong drink. Wine. Or whatever your heart desires. Whatever good stuff, I'm guessing. You're not gonna buy foreign slaves who have been oppressed, or slaves who have been oppressed in the wrong way. You're not gonna buy I don't know, did they have drugs? They had abortifacients, ways to abort babies. Wouldn't buy that stuff. I'm not gonna buy weapons to do damage with. I don't know. I mean, weapons can be good, but buy good stuff. There you shall eat in the presence of the Lord your God and rejoice, you and your household. Okay. Oh, don't neglect the Levite who is in your town, for he has no portion or inheritance among you. Yeah. Make sure the Levite also gets some food. So God says, spend money on wine and other strong drink, and you shall eat in the presence of the Lord your God. But we're told here, when the wine had gone out of Nabal, then his heart sank. And here, see now, when Ammon's heart is cheerful with wine. Okay. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was cheerful with wine, which makes the heart cheerful, God says it's okay to buy that and feast with it. So let's see. Psalms 104:15. Maybe if I'd have went down, I would have found it. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul, worship his holy name. Lord, my God, you are very great. You're clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light with a cloak. So when they sang back in the day, I don't know, did it rhyme? Did they have specific meter? I don't know. Stretching out heaven like a tent curtain, he lays the beams of his upper chain. I don't know. The Psalms. Psalm 104 is a song they would sing. So, all right, they fled from your rebuke, the sound of your thunders, they hurried away, probably the enemies. The waters fled from his rebuke. He sends forth springs in the valleys. That's good. They flow between the mountains. His waters, the mountains. He waters the mountains from his upper chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of his works. So the earth is happy with God's works. He causes grass to grow for the cattle, sweet vegetation for the labor of mankind. Mankind goes out to sow in his field, he gives them vegetation, so they may produce food from the earth, and wine, which makes the human heart cheerful, so that he makes his face gleam with oil. You put oil and it makes your face shine and it makes you look nice. And food, which sustains the human heart. The trees of the Lord drink their fill, the cedars of Lebanon, which he planted, where the birds build their nests. So in other words, wine, which makes the heart cheerful, is a good thing. Good thing. It's a good thing. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful, must not be immoral to get drunk and have a cheerful heart. Must not be wrong to drink wine, to get drunk, to drink and have a cheerful heart. But here, let's look this up. Proverbs. No, not abundance. Sparkles. That's a weird word in the Bible. There it is, 23:31. Full chapter. See why this, you're like, oh, BJ knows everything about that. Nope, I just type in words until it works. Yep, here you go. Do not weary yourself to gain wealth. Stop dwelling on it. When you set your eyes on wealth, it's gone. Wealth certainly makes itself wings like an eagle that flies toward the heavens. Is wealth bad? No, God just said, hey guys, sell all the stuff you have and get wealth. Then bring it to my place and sell it. And then wine, strong drink, oxen, and eat it all up. But hey, don't neglect the Levite. He doesn't have a portion. So in other words, God's saying, use your wealth to make yourself happy, but also don't neglect the poor with your wealth. Okay. When you sit down to dine with a ruler, consider carefully before you with a ruler. You sit down to eat some food with the king. You're sitting down with the president to eat some food. Put a knife to your throat. If you're a person with great appetite, don't desire his delicacies, for it is deceptive food. The food is deceptive. Maybe gluttony is deceptive. Maybe it's wrong. The food is deceptive. The food says, eat more, and you're in front of a king and you just, that would just look bad, you know? Just like here, you know, hey, you can get wealth, but man, it goes away so quick. Don't let it control your life. Oh, the same here. Eat and drink, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the morsel even in. Do not speak to be heard by a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. You know, you talk to somebody who's dumb, half the time they're going to be like, I don't care. I don't know. So see, these are basic and general principles to follow in life. You know, it's not saying food is evil, not saying wealth is evil. It's not saying talking to a less intelligent person or a foolish person, an immoral person. It's not saying talking to them is evil, but it's saying if you speak to them, they might despise your words of wisdom. Do not speak, for he will. That doesn't always happen. And there are instances in the Bible where Jesus speaks to fools, quote unquote, and they despise his wisdom. So it must not, if Jesus does it, then he's breaking this commandment. Paul does it in the Bible. He's breaking this commandment. It's not a commandment. It's a proverb, general principles of wisdom, general principles to live your life by. You know, hey, this will be a good thing, you know, to do. All right, where is it at? Where was the sparkles? Control F. Okay, there it is. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaining? Who has wounds without cause? Who has red eyes? Who? Those who linger long over wine. Those who go to taste mixed wine. I'm not sure what's so bad about mixed wine. Let's see. Oh, those who search out mixed wine. They're like, hey, where is it? Where's the wine? So you're lingering long over it. You're going to it and searching it out. Do not look at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup, gives its eye, when it goes down smoothly. In the end, it bites like a snake and it stings like a viper. So when you get drunk, you're like, hey, where's the wine? Ooh, this looks good. Oh man, that stuff's good. It's sparkling and it goes down smoothly. Like I guess, you know, in other words, you're getting way into it. You're like, this is less drinking wine to gladden the heart and more overindulging in the wine. Up here, do not overindulge. As he thinks within himself, so he says to you, eat and drink, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the morsel you have eaten. You know, don't go eating too much. Don't withhold discipline from a child. Okay. Though you strike him with the rod, he's not going to die. Okay. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but live in fear. Oh, yeah, never let your heart do that. So sometimes, oh, do not be heavy drinkers of wine. Heavy. Be gluttonous eaters of meat. Okay. Drowsiness will close one's rags. Not always, but usually. So, I mean, it's talking about overly doing it. You know, you're spoiling your child. He's going to get away with it. No, don't do that. You can punish your child. Don't spoil him. You get invited to eat some food. Don't be a glutton. Eat some of the king's food, but hey, don't be a glutton. Okay. Down here, who has woe and sorrow? The person who seeks after wine, who drinks, watches it sparkle in the cup. You get carried away with it. Eve saw the serpent was talking to Eve, and the serpent was like, "No, you can eat the fruit. You'll be like God." And they said, Eve, seeing that the fruit was delightful to the eye and good for food, she took it and ate it. She saw that it was delightful to the eye and that it was good for food. This dude sees, oh, this stuff's delightful to the eye, and hey, it's good to make the heart glad. Too much, and then he gets carried away with it. Look at this. They struck me, but I did not become ill. They beat me, but I did not know it. When will I awake? I will seek another drink. But look at this. Who has wounds without cause? I'm going to guess Boaz. He's a good Christian. He's a good Jewish guy. He's a good believer in God, good Israelite. He believes in God. You know, he's doing all this good stuff for Ruth. I'm guessing he was not a Proverbs 23 drunkard. I'm guessing he was more, what was it, Psalm 104 drunkard? Psalm 104 drinker. I'm guessing Boaz is not a drunkard. He's just drinking wine to gladden his heart. Okay, that's fine. Good. Cool. Yeah. Just like all the alcohol commercials say, and we kind of laugh about it, but they always say, drink responsibly. It's like, okay, yeah, we know that. The Bible told us so. Drink responsibly, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. My cat thinks I'm nuts. Say hi, Barney. Oh! When I reached out to pet him, he knows I have food. When I reach out to pet him, he's like, food! He knows I don't give him human food. I used to all the time. And then my wife told the vet, oh, well, sometimes my husband, and it was all over. No more human food. Yep. It's her fault. Sorry, dude. One of my cats' name is Saul, after King Saul. And he's staring at me. He's like looking at me. Why do you keep saying my name? Because my wife saw Saul when he was a little kitten. We got him when he was about a year old, I think. So he wasn't a kitten. He was, an adolescent. But she noticed Saul attacking like there's a piece of paper, and he was like, pow, 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 pow. And she thought, man, he's fierce, like a warrior. Oh, hey, Saul in the Bible. Now, why didn't she think of, I don't know, David, somebody like who loved God the whole time, but instead Saul, who like turned against God, I don't know. Well, then we get this other cat. He's kind of crazy, kind of dopey, kind of silly. What should we name him? We're trying to figure out. And then my wife suddenly goes, oh, we can name him Barnabas and call him Barney for short. And I was like, whoa, okay. And she was like, no, I just mean. I was like, that's fine. So it's Barney. We call him Barney. And we call him Barnabas. He knows what it means. If we say bar, he usually, right, bar? Yeah. He's a little less dopey than he used to be. So now we're like, hey, it's Barney for Barney and Saul. Barnabas and Saul in the New Testament, the apostles. But no, wait, the first Saul was named for the King Saul. So, a double meaning, kind of changed meanings, He was Saul the king. Now he's Saul the zealous Jew who's persecuting Christians. Eventually, you need to name him Paul the Apostle. I don't know. Anyway, right, Saul? Right, you good boy. We tell a cat's a good boy like their dogs, and they kind of know what it means. All right. So Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful. When he did that, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. And she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. Okay. Did that weird feet uncovering thing. Not sure what it means, And it happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled and bent forward. Behold, a woman was lying at his feet. So he said, "Who are you?" It's dark. It's the middle of the night. They don't exactly have electric lights. They don't have torches going overnight. That would be dangerous, build a campfire and just leave it there. He just had, hey, I mean, he was just drunk. No, not drunk, probably tipsy. It did sound like Nabal was drunk because it said once the wine had left him. Whenever we read that thing about Nabal being drunk or whatever. But I'm guessing Boaz would have said, wait. Boaz didn't have the Proverbs. King Solomon, who wrote the Proverbs hundreds of years after Ruth and Boaz. Because you got Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Then you got the 12 tribes of Israel going to Egypt for 400-ish years. Moses grabs them, takes them out. They come to the promised land. Now it's, 40 years later, now it's the time of the judges. Remember, this happens during the time of the judges. Now it's the time of the judges. Okay, so Joshua is kind of the leader. It's the time of the judges. Maybe Joshua's dead by now. It doesn't tell us when during the time of the judges. Well, at the end of the time of the judges, a few hundred years, Samuel becomes the last judge. They want a king. They say, hey, we want a king. So there's Saul for a few years, and there's David for 40 years, I believe, 7 and then 33, something like that. Then Solomon, the king. So Ruth, sometime during the time of the judges. Then you got Samuel, then King Saul, then King David, King David's son Solomon. Solomon wrote the Proverbs. So unless Boaz had a time machine to go forward in time, he didn't have those Proverbs, but he was a good Israelite, and they probably had, hey, don't get drunk. That's my guess. Now, what if he did get drunk? What if he did drink too much? What if his heart was cheerful? Means he was like inebriated. It does just say his heart was cheerful, like in the Psalms, which he wouldn't have had any of the Psalms yet. There was one Psalm by Moses that we know about. It says Psalm of Moses, but they don't talk about wine. We are told in Deuteronomy, which is written before the time of the judges, the wine is strong drink, do that, and feast before the Lord. I would assume that God would not like it if they came to a feast, got drunk, and started doing stupid things, like it said the man in Proverbs, your eyes will see strange things, your mind will say perverse things. Okay. Who has wounds without cause? You'll get into a fight. They struck me, but I did not become ill from the effects of the wound. I was drunk and got beat up and perverse things on my mind. I'm guessing Boaz wouldn't have wanted that. I'm guessing God wouldn't have wanted that at his feast. I'm just assuming that general propriety would happen here. That a good Israelite, which it seems Boaz is, would not be gluttonous on wine. Would not be a wine bibber. That's what Jesus calls it in the King James and the New King James. A wine bibber. He imbibed the wine. Why not just say a drunkard? A drunkard, one who goes after strong drink, right? Yeah. So I'm just kind of assuming that. But if he did get drunk, well, God uses broken people. I didn't say he was drunk. So right here, he immediately wakes up. He's able to say, "May the Lord bless you, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first by not going after young men who are rich or poor. So now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do whatever you say for me." So he knows what's going on. He's able to suddenly start talking to her, even though it's the middle of the night. He can't see. He wakes up. He's startled, wakes up. Who are you? But then whenever she says stuff to him, he immediately is able to be like, oh, okay, let me tell you what to do. So it seems in his right mind. Okay. So Boaz is like, who are you? And she answered, I am Ruth, your slave. Before this, it kept saying she and it kept saying he. Oh, when Boaz, okay. The man was startled. A woman was lying at his feet, trying to build up the suspense. I'm Ruth, your slave. Now spread your garment over your slave, for you are a redeemer. Okay, I'm going to read real fast. 54 minutes. We're going to talk about redeemer again real quick. May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than the first, by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. So now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you whatever you say. For whatever she says. What did she say? Well, maybe she will say. Maybe he already knows what she's going to say. Maybe he knows what's going on. For all my people in this city know that you are a woman of excellence. But now, although it is true that I am a redeemer, up here, Ruth said, look, you're a redeemer, so spread your garment over your slave. Take me under your wing, for you are a family redeemer. Let's see. Spread the edge of your garment, literally spread the wing of your garment, okay? Ezekiel 16. We didn't look at that yesterday. Ezekiel. No. I want to go to Bible. Ezekiel might be confusing, so we'll look at it in okay. Ezekiel 16:8. Ezekiel 16. Let's see if this works. I use this program a lot, but not a whole lot. Let's see. Okay. 16:8. The Lord's faithless bride. God's grace to unfaithful Jerusalem. Okay, 16. A parable of infidelity. Man, Jerusalem as an adulterous wife. Golly. All right, 16:8. Then I passed by you and watched you. God passed by Israel, but remember, it's a parable. Noticing that you had reached the age for love, like to be married off. I spread my cloak over you and covered your nakedness. Okay, that's good. Because up here, all right. Let's see. Your origin and your birth were in the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite and your mother a Hittite. As for your birth, on the day you were born, your umbilical cord was not cut, nor were you washed by water. You certainly were not rubbed down by salt, nor wrapped with blankets. Nobody took care of you when you were born. No, I took pity on you to do even one of those things for you to spare you. You were thrown out in the open field because you were detested on the day you were born. Yikes. But I passed by you and saw you kicking around helplessly in your blood. I said to you, as you lay there in your blood, live. I said to you, as you lay there, live. I, God, made you, Jerusalem, plentiful like sprouts in a field. You grew tall. You came of age, so you could wear jewelry. I guess they only wear jewelry when they come of age. Your breast had formed and your hair had grown, but you were still naked and bare. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure, huh? Okay, I guess naked was unprotected. So Israel grew up to let's say puberty. Okay, like here, you grew up and became a beautiful jewel. Your breast became full. Your body hair grew. Okay, in other words, you've become of age, but you're still bare naked. You're still by yourself. I mean, because they grew up, and then in Egypt, they were like a huge amount of people. They had while they were in Egypt, a flourishing nation. But then what happened? Pharaoh was like, uh-oh, they're getting to be too numerous. And then they made them slaves and they appointed taskmasters over them. That happens. So they're full-fledged and full of good, but they're still not protected. That's what happened, right? Pharaoh didn't take him under his wings. Pharaoh was beating Israel with his wings, I guess you could say. Then I passed by you and watched you, noticing that you had reached the age for love, old enough to get married and such, which to them was pretty young, 13, 14, 15, maybe not as young as 13, 14, 15, something like. I spread my cloak over you and covered your nakedness. I swore a solemn oath to you and entered into a marriage covenant with you, declares the sovereign Lord. And you became mine. Okay. Then I bathed you in water, washed the blood off you, and anointed you with fragrant oil. Pretty cool. So it's like they're not a baby anymore, so they don't have blood, but he's still he's kind of mixing the metaphors. You're a baby and I'm cleaning the baby. But you're an adult at the age of love. You're at the age of love as an adult. So I'm gonna take you and love you. So kind of mixing the metaphors here. Yeah. I spread my cloak over you and covered your nakedness. So I spread the corner of my cloak over you to cover your nakedness. Here, look, what did they say? Oh, hey, see, sometimes these little stars right here, if you look really close, maybe you can see it. Sometimes I don't even see it. I'm going to read this, of course. I spread the corner of my cloak. One way to acquire a woman for marriage. Ruth 3:9 and Deuteronomy 23:1, a son's illicit sexual relations with his father's wife. Oh, your mom, your stepmom, whoever. Yikes. In Deuteronomy 23:1, when a son does stuff with his mom, it is described as uncovering the edge of the father's garment. Okay. So a euphemism for sex, I guess. Or to acquire a woman for marriage, maybe. That's why uncover his feet. Maybe uncovering the feet is hey, I want you to marry me. I'm gonna uncover your feet, and I want you to cover me with your cloak. Maybe that's it. Spread your wings, or the word for wings can also mean corner of the garment. Spread your garment over me. I uncovered your feet. Now cover me with your garment. Maybe something like a parable acted out. Okay. For you are a redeemer. A redeemer. Chapter 2, verse 20. Oh yeah. Naomi's like, dude, Boaz, he's one of our relatives. Don't be eating while you're teaching, VJ. No, it is true that I am a redeemer over him. But now, in the SB, but now, although it is true that I am a redeemer, yet there is also a redeemer more closely related than I. Okay. Remain this night, and when morning comes, he will redeem you good. And when morning comes, so remain this night. And when morning comes, if the guy will redeem you good, so they're gonna the next day see if he'll redeem you. Let him redeem you. Okay, he'll redeem you. He'll take care of you. You'll be put under the shadow of his wings. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you as the Lord lives. Lie down until morning. Okay. Wouldn't she rather be with Boaz, this guy who's been taking care of her, who's been giving her grain and such? Man, why didn't Boaz say there's a guy that's closer, but don't worry, I'll think of something to make sure I can redeem you. As long as she's taken care of, Maybe that's what Boaz thinks. Maybe Boaz is like, I am your redeemer, but we have to follow the law. He's a good Israelite. We got to follow it. I don't know. Let's look up redeemer one more time. She is the redeemer. The angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the boys. Old chapter 48:16. Israel's last days. Israel is in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Isaac is the son of Abraham, and the promise goes from Abraham to Isaac. Jacob is the son of Isaac. The promise goes from Isaac to Jacob. God's promise to redeem the whole world, basically. To redeem the whole world. Look at that. Yeah. God's going to come back and redeem the world. Now, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, which is why they're the country of Israel, or Israel. Israel. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. I heard a guy say it one time like that, and ever since then I've been like, Israel. Yeah. His name is changed to Israel. Now it came about, these things Joseph told, behold, your father is sick. Uh-oh. So where was it? Control F, read. Okay. And I'm guessing Jacob. Who are these? Joseph said to his father, these are my sons whom God has given me. Okay. And he blessed Joseph and said, so Israel reached out with his hand and put him on the kids, and he blessed Joseph and said, the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, that God, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the boys. So the God and the angel of the Lord, the angel who does stuff for God, who might be God or might just be acting on behalf of God. An angel acts on behalf of God. So you can say, God saved me. The angel saved me. It's the same thing. God sent the angel saved him. The angel gives all glory to God. You give all glory to God. God is the one who sent it. It's all God. It's God. Sorry. Redeem me from all evil. Bless the boys. Okay. So they walk the God who Isaac and Jacob walked before, who is the shepherd all my day, who redeemed me from all evil. Still don't know what the word redeem means, really. Let's see. He saved me from evil. There was evil stuff happening, but we'll try and look and see if we can get that from other passages. Full chapter, Exodus 6:6. Now, Boaz is called a redeemer. This is the word redeem that I'm finding, to redeem somebody. So Boaz, if he redeems somebody, he is a redeemer. Well, can he just redeem anybody? Maybe there's a special use of the word redeem. Let's see. Control. I think it was 6. Okay. God spoke further to Moses and said to him, so this is after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob / Israel. Israel blessed his son Joseph. Well, then they go down to Egypt. They spend 400 something years there. Then the Lord said to Moses, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. Under compulsion, he will let them go. So now God's fixing to lay the smack down on Pharaoh and let the Hebrews go. Under compulsion, the Pharaoh will drive the Hebrews out of the land. God spoke further to Moses and said to Moses, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as God Almighty, but my name, Lord, or Yahweh, I did not make myself known to them. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as strangers. He promised to give them a land. He said, I was with them, but I didn't tell them my name. I gave them a land, but it was only a promise. Furthermore, so I was with them and I promised to give them a land. Now I have heard the groaning of the sons of Israel because the Egyptians are holding them in bondage, and I remember my covenant. Which covenant? I also established my covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God's going, I hear my people crying. I'm remembering my covenant to save them, to give them the land of Canaan. So the Egyptians are holding in bondage. They're groaning. I'm going to remember my covenant that I made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm going to give them the land of Canaan, which means they have to leave the land of Egypt to go to Canaan. Say therefore to the sons of Israel. So Moses, here's what you're to say to the sons of Israel. I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the labors of the Egyptians. I will rescue you from their bondage. I will also redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Then I will take you as my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I'm the Lord your God who brought you out from under the labors of Egyptians. I will bring you to the land which I swore, the covenant, to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will give it to you as a possession. I am the Lord. That's how I said that last part. I am the Lord. Lord. Road. I will also redeem you. Okay, so it sounds like he's saying different things. I will, one, bring you out from under the labor of the Egyptians, and I will rescue from their bondage. I will also redeem you with outstretched arm and with great judgments. Then I will take you as my people. I don't think it's that cut and dry, because he's going to rescue them is him taking them as his people. He's not like, hey, first I'm going to rescue, then I'll take you as my people. Maybe take you as my people means, and I will be your God, is I'll give you the law. You'll become like me. So during the 40 years of the wandering around in the wilderness, he's establishing a group. He's already rescued them. Now he's got to like fit them and mold them into his people. Maybe that's what that is. I'll also redeem you. So he's going to rescue them, then redeem them. And he redeems them with an outstretched arm with great judgments. Okay. So rescuing them is not the same as redeeming. Maybe it is. Let's see if we can find this word redeem elsewhere. Uh-oh. That's a difficult passage. I'm not sure exactly. Let's read it anyway. Now, when the Lord brings you to the land of the Canaanite, we were just talking about that, Canaan, as he swore to you and to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and when the Lord gives you the land of Canaan, you shall devote to the Lord every firstborn of a womb. Every human you devote to the Lord, the firstborn, and every firstborn offspring of an animal, the males belong to the Lord. Every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. So in other words, you don't give me the firstborn donkey, give me another lamb instead. So maybe you have you've already given away your firstborn lamb. And so you got a bunch of lambs, then a donkey gets born. So when the firstborn, so you take another lamb and you give it, but you keep the donkey. God don't want donkeys, I guess. But if you do not redeem the donkey, then you shall break its neck. And so you're going to give, okay. You shall devote to the Lord every firstborn of the womb and every firstborn offspring of an animal that you own. The males belong to the Lord. The firstborn of the animal, the firstborn male, belongs to the Lord. The firstborn of a human male, the firstborn boy of a human belongs to the Lord. But if you got a donkey, you shall redeem it with a lamb. So I think that means instead of the donkey, give it the lamb, because if you do not redeem it, you don't give the donkey to God. What do? You shall break its neck. You break the donkey's neck. Don't give the donkey to God. And if you don't redeem it, whatever that means, with the lamb, you get rid of it. Every firstborn among your sons you shall redeem. Oh, just like you redeem the donkey. Now, it doesn't say you break the boy's neck, but just like you don't give the Lord the donkey, but you redeem it, every firstborn among your sons, you don't give it to the Lord, you also can redeem it. How do you redeem it? What are you redeeming? I mean, we know how you redeem the donkey. You redeem it with a lamb. I am guessing you give God a lamb instead of the donkey because you devote the firstborn The males belong to God. You give them to God. You devote them to God. You say, God, this is yours. So the boys become like servants of God. They go become priests and Levites, I guess. That's right. I just thought of something. So you give that to him instead. So in other words, you keep the donkey and give God a lamb. You keep your firstborn son and you give God something else. Now we're almost out of time. But if I recall, it says something like, you're not going to give me your firstborn sons. Instead, I've taken the Levite, the tribe of the Levites. So if I can find that somewhere. So it's kind of like your firstborn son has been redeemed instead, with the Levites. Like instead of a donkey, give me a lamb. Instead of the firstborn, I'll take the Levites, the priests. He's not saying I'll take the priests. No. He's saying I'll take the Levites and make them priests instead of your firstborn son and making them priests. Okay. All right. And it shall come to be when your son asks you in time to come, saying, what is this? Just like I'm asking right now, what in the world is this? Then you shall say to your son, with a powerful hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt from the house of slavery. And it came about when Pharaoh was stubborn about letting us go, that the Lord put to death every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the human firstborns to animal firstborns. Therefore, I sacrificed to the Lord the males, every firstborn of a woman, but every firstborn of my sons I redeem. So God took the firstborn of the Egyptians. So God is going to take our firstborn, make them priests, but instead I redeem them. So it shall serve as a sign on your hand and as phylacteries on your forehead. For with a powerful hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. So in other words, me giving you to God is supposed to be you being reminded that God took the firstborn from Egypt. Me redeeming you is supposed to remind you that God redeemed us. It's like a living parable. You do that to remind you how God redeemed us. God killed the firstborn. You're my firstborn. God redeemed you from the land. I'm redeeming you. Yeah. So cool. The way God redeems people, though, is not by killing them. Like I said, you don't break the kid. You break the donkey's neck, break the kid's neck. No. The kid becomes a priest, becomes dedicated to the Lord. But you don't have to. You're supposed to redeem it. So it's pretty cool. What does that have to do with Ruth? It says a redeemer. Like this. I can kick something. I kick the wall. I kick a ball. I kick the edge of the table on accident. Ow. But am I a kicker? No. What's a kicker? A kicker is somebody who puts a football, and they put it on a little stand. The referees blow the whistle. They run up and they kick it. They're a kicker. So a run. Sometimes I run. Sometimes I go out and I'm trying to run away from something, or I'm trying to get somewhere quickly. Sometimes you kind of jog along. I actually go out in the street and on the trails in the woods, and I run. You could call me a runner. You could say, "Hey, BJ, you're a runner," but do I go to official races and run? No. So I'm not a runner in that way. Some people are called runners. Hey, could you take this to them real quick? They don't run. They just take the paper to the other person. Then they say, "Hey, BJ," and I say, "What?" They say, I need a runner to take the paper over there." And I say, "Okay, I'm coming." So I walk over there, take it, and I walk the paper over to the other people. A runner. So there's a different definition of the word runner, but it's kind of the same thing. You're taking something back and forth. You're running, but you're not necessarily okay. You're a kicker, but you're not a kicker. You're a redeemer, but you're not a redeemer. You redeem something, but you're not a redeemer. Seems to be a technical term for redeemer. That's my guess. But an hour and 18 minutes might be the longest Ruth so far. We're going to call this one quits for now. And we'll pick up on Redeemer tomorrow with my kitty shirt. Space kitty, you can't really see, yeah. He's in a space helmet, I don't know. Not that yeah, I got two cats. I'm always talking about, I love my cats. No, not really. This shirt, who doesn't want a shirt with a space helmet cat? Anyway, God created cats. God created space helmets in space. God loves us very much. Lord God, thank you for being good to us. Thank you for being kind and lovely. Thank you for redeeming us from our sins. Thank you, Jesus, for dying on the cross and being our Redeemer of our sins, which we're told in the New Testament. You redeemed us from our sins. In your name I pray, amen. See you guys in the next Basic Bible.